Well, good. It's good to see everyone here again, as Brother Demerit mentioned. But before we get started, I just want to just share a few things with you, just to give you a little update where we are and what's been happening since we last saw you. We've met with the food service department, and it looks like we're going to have a Navajo taco lunch, very light lunch. It's going to be a buffet style, but it's more designed just to acquaint our delegates with what some of the flair is, the food here in this region of the world. It's going to be a light overview of what the ingredients are, what they mean to them, and things of that nature. And then we met with the transportation department. It looks like we may try to get all 300 delegates on site within a close proximity rather than scattering them or staggering them throughout the morning. We want them to enjoy the experience all at pretty much at the same time. Have lunch at the same time with all of us so that we can all have a chance to have a nice source of encouragement and interchange between all of our delegates. And also we ordered all of our lanyards too, so we should be getting those just about the time we get our assignment at the Hurd Museum. So that's where we are right now. We still got some more details to work out with regards to our spiritual program and how we actually going to get our delegates to that venue on those particular days. So again, things are moving very nicely. We're very excited, and of course, a lot of people are getting a lot of phone calls to do a lot of different things, greeters. Work at the airport, work at hotels, and so it's very, very exciting with regards to all the events that are happening and how we can take a part in them. So before we move on into our next module, let's do a recap from last week. The theme of our lesson last week was Galatians chapter 5, 22 and 23. And what was that? Does anyone recall? Sister Sante?
Fruitage of the Spirit?
Yes, and what were those fruitages of the Spirit? We'd like to help figure out a couple of them. My brother here's Sosa?
Love.
Love. Okay, that's an easy one. Gotcha. Jessica?
Patience.
Patience. And what else? Sister right here?
Joy.
Joy. And what else? Kim?
Kindness. Kindness.
Kindness. And what else? Sister back here?
Self-control.
Self-control. What else? Sister Peace. Did we get them all? What's missing? Somebody shaking their head. Loose?
Is it mildness?
Mildness. Okay. My brother?
Love.
Love. We got that one. Sister on the end?
Faith.
Faith. That's right. And what else? Did we get them all? Kim?
Goodness.
Well, I have to write them down. They are. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, mildness, and self-control. And as we think about those fruitages of the Spirit, can you remember some of the scenarios that we were in that required us to maybe to have to use some of those fruitages? You remember some of the scenarios, Kim?
It was very hot outside, the lines were long, and the attendants at the Hurd Museum were very rude.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. And sister right here?
And then there was another one where their brother was trying to lead the group and the sister kept interrupting him.
Yes, yes. And somebody was trying to get directions to go to the bathroom. We couldn't understand what they were saying, right? Little interpretation issues there. So those are different things that we're going to have to really think about with regards to how we can use the fruitages of the Spirit in various scenarios. And one good thing, too, about the majority of you, if not all of you at this point, you've been down to the Hurd. So you can see some of the challenges we're going to face with regards to some of the galleries and some of where the restrooms are, the emergency exits, ATM machine, if somebody wants to go to the cafe, or wherever the case may be. You'll have a little working knowledge of now where those things are and how you can direct them to those in a very quick and safe manner. Okay? Now, what did we also learn last week about not applying the fruits of the Spirit? What did we learn about that? Jessica?
Should we not apply them, then we could ruin the experience for our brothers and sisters.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And Sister Board?
Bring reproach on Jehovah's name.
Absolutely. And what else? Just make life miserable for everybody, right, Kim?
Make the Hurd people not want to have us back again.
That's right. We're on display. You know, like Paul said, everybody's watching us, so we have to make sure we do the very best that we can to show them that applying Bible principles and just talking about them, we actually apply them and not just talk about them. This is a working thing for us. It's something that we really take very seriously in our life. So that's where we are right now, and what we're going to do, we're going to invite Brother Demerit up, As he takes us to our next section is we use the Apply Yourself to Reading and Teaching brochure. So we're going to use a few lessons out of there to see how we can apply those lessons to our brothers and sisters at the Hurd Museum.
So did everyone remember to bring their brochure with them? Booklet, whatever we use, so if you can pull that out. We're going to play a game, right? So this is going to try to apply what we've been learning at the midweek meetings, right? We've been putting all these things into practice. So looking at the table of contents, let's see if you can identify the 3 skills that we're going to discuss today in connection with our assignment. So who'd like to throw out a skill there? Kimberly.
Conversational manner?
Conversational matter. I was going to write that down. Sister Martinez.
Warmth and empathy.
Warmth and empathy. Sister Smith.
Upbuilding and positive.
Upbuilding and positive. Brother.
Enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm. Just yell out your name if I point to you. Sister Sharp.
Understandable to others.
Understandable to others. Sister Tammy.
Modulation.
Modulation. All right, so what did we get there in terms of the things we wrote down? What do you think, Sister Tamara? What did we write down?
We have conversational, warmth and empathy, upbuilding and positive, enthusiasm, understandable, and modulation.
Okay, so we pretty much named them all that was in the book, didn't we? All right, well, let's see if we're correct. Turn to the next, oh wait, before we go to the next slide, what teaching skills do you think we need as a host? Now, when you think about being a host, what are some of those skills that will come in play as we think about some of those things we just laid out? Sister Smith.
Informative to your audience.
Yeah, why do we need to be informative to our audience? What do you think? Kimberly.
They've never been here, and they've never been there, and so they're going to need direction and things like that. So we want to make sure we give them the right direction, inform them correctly.
Yeah. Brother Sosa.
And also in case people have never been to a museum like the Hurd Museum, if you have to have like an emergency or anything like that, we want to be able to properly communicate that to where they are, whether it's a restroom emergency or a, hazardous emergency.
Yeah. Very good. So thinking about how the skills we just talked about, how can it enhance the experience of the friends, the delegates that are there? You think about what you see in your workbook. Trying to enhance their experience. What really stands out to you? Brother Sosa.
Well, if we don't build anticipation or excitement, stress, for example, us at the Hurd Museum, we could say, yeah, look, this is an arrow, this is a feather. They're Indian stuff.
Yeah.
They're not really going to get the full enjoyment or meaning behind it.
Right. See, if I stand up here and just say, okay, friends, let me just read from this piece of paper. You can just kind of enjoy the next 2 hours of your life lost, right? That would be exciting. So what we're going to do is put some enthusiasm into it. Matter of fact, I could use a little help. Brother Sosa, young Sosa, would you mind grabbing a mic, and then that way when we're running around, we can use a mic. All right, let's see what we're correct. Now, let's bring up a slide. We're going to consider how to apply these specific tools to our role. Let's talk about enthusiasm. So we talked about that a little bit. How do we apply enthusiasm to our role based on what you're seeing in your workbook? What stands out to you? Sister, shout out your name.
Bethany.
Bethany, thank you.
On enthusiasm, I really like the point that says getting your heart involved, because when you're excited about something, it shows.
Yeah, we want that to carry over. What about being understandable to others? How would that enhance and apply these skills to our role as being a guide? How does that help? Sister Sharp.
Because we have a language barrier, so things like a warm facial expression, body language, gestures, that would be a good way to communicate too.
It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. So we got to be thinking about our communication skills, and then ultimately upbuilding and positive. Why might we need to be upbuilding and positive? could we apply that? Sister Smith?
We could unintentionally start focusing on the negative aspects that we had some examples last week too. Not focusing on the right thing.
Yeah, and there could be some things that could go wrong, right? So we want to be upbeat and positive. Brother Sosa, did you have a similar thought?
Yes, I mean, one thing I was thinking of is,
There's a part in the museum which to me, I thought, that's pretty depressing. I don't want to do this anymore. But then we come to the meeting here and the sister's like, it was excellent because, it showed that they tried to change them, yet they did the changing. So that kind of changed my personal attitude about that portion of it.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's see if we can kind of put some of this to work. We're going to do a discussion here about enthusiasm. How would our developing of this skill enhance our experience of our visiting delegates? So just focusing on enthusiasm. How does that enhance the experience of our delegates? Sister Martinez.
I think enthusiasm is contagious, so if we're enthusiastic, then it'll rub off on them too.
Yeah, whip it in a frenzy. Brother Martinez.
Yeah, we set a baseline tone of their experience with our enthusiasm, because think of me, I wouldn't want to go visit a place and everybody's humdrum and there's no enthusiasm. So, we can help set that tone, that experience that they're going to have.
Yeah, I just personal experience for myself. I'm not really into museums per se until I went with Lisa. And she is so excited about a museum, it made me more excited about being at the museum. So we can see how that experience can change it for people. Now, what must we do to develop this skill? What do we have to do? We can use our workbooks to cheat there. Sister Woodson.
Well, for one, we need to be positive. We need to be positive, excited about what we're doing, and to try to spill that over onto our delegates. Our delegates are excited and enthusiastic about being here. We want to keep that level either where it is or pump it up even further.
That's right. That's right. Tammy.
Just thinking if somebody else isn't excited about what they're showing you, why should you care? And so if we go and we're acting like we don't really care about it, it mentions here speaking with zeal, that, here we are like showcasing the best of our city and we're gonna act like it's not that exciting, then they're gonna have a negative view of the whole thing, maybe even the whole city.
Yeah, exactly. Sister Sharp.
I like the part about getting your heart involved, and so if we think ahead of time about the parts that we like, and what we really enjoy, it'll come out in our enthusiasm, especially thinking about how can we connect this to Jehovah, then that would make us excited and the delegates excited too.
I love that. Our speaker talked about that today. Get your heart involved when you're meditating. Sister Wisner.
And usually when we have enthusiasm, we're smiling, we're happy, and we want that to come across like we're very positive about the whole event.
Very nice. So you all had really good answers. So we're thinking about those answers. Now let's put it into practice. So everyone has a little badge with a team. Let's split off into the teams, and we're going to see how we can put these into practice.
Before the music starts, I'm right beside you. The fire is growing, the fire is growing. The world in chaos, but here we got peace. And we're just starting, yeah, yeah. We are sisters, we are brothers, sons and daughters and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. Yeah. We are sisters, we are brothers, sons and daughters and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. daughters, and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. Yeah. We are sisters, we are brothers, sons and daughters, and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. Give me your hand. We're in the same fight. You give me strength to carry on towards eternal life. We are sisters, we are brothers, sons and daughters, and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. Yeah. We are sisters, we are brothers, sons and daughters, and more. And I love you even though I never met you before. And I love you even though I never met you before.
Okay, so here's the goal. We're going to take your teams, each of you individually. We're going to do it enacting it without the skill. In this particular case, we're talking about enthusiasm. And then we're going to do it with the skill. And we're going to try to dissect it and really understand the difference between the two. Okay, so let's start with group number 1. And I'm just going to set this up. This is an attendant that's talking to a group of delegates about the Herb Museum, but without enthusiasm and gestures. Let's see how that goes.
Hello, how are you guys? It says here, did you know the Herb Museum has an extensive collection of American artifacts, beautiful, traditional, contemporary art, telling the stories of American and Indian people of the Southwest through their eyes. It says here, look for the boarding school exhibit that tells an untold story where American Indian children were torn from their homes, placed in government-operated boarding schools in an attempt to strip away their culture. The schools were designed to change American Indians, but they ended up changing the schools. If you want to follow me this way, please.
All right, what'd you think? What'd you think? Was it a snooze fest? Do you want to go to that event? What advice would you give to Brother Martinez?
Look at us in our eyes. Eye contact.
Man, I'm
Enthusiasm.
There you go. Let's switch that. So we heard eye contact. What else?
Speak loud.
Enthusiasm.
He can maybe have some volume in his voice. How about some tone, inflection? You want to try that?
Bass in the voice.
He says, what's the bass in your voice? All right, let's try it again, Brother Martinez.
Well, welcome, you guys. Hey, did you know something very interesting? This Herb Museum has an extensive collection of American Indian artifacts and beautiful traditional and contemporary art telling the stories of American Indian people of the Southwest through their eyes. Very interesting. One thing that I loved here, look for the boarding school exhibit that tells the untold story when American Indian children were torn from their homes and placed in government-operated boarding schools in an attempt to strip away their culture. The schools were designed to change the American Indians, but they ended up changing the schools. Very, very interesting. You can't miss that, guys. Follow me. Let's go.
And friends, when you jump up here on the stage, if we forget to give you a mic, just snatch it out of my hand. All right, so what do you think Brother Martinez did right this time? How did it feel? Why was it different? Sister Woodson?
No, just the fact that he didn't just look at his paper, he looked at them, he had a lot more enthusiasm. He just seemed more motivated, so.
Yeah, did we pick up on what Sister Woodson said too? She talked about that eye contact. How do we feel when we look at you when we're speaking to you as a group? How does it feel right now? What if I was up here on stage and I was just kind of talking like this, right? Feels differently when we make eye contact. So do your best to try to look into the eyes of our folks. What else did we see? Sister Al's niece.
When he was talking, he actually used some gestures and gestured into the direction of what he was actually talking about at that moment.
Gestures are so important because it ultimately does what to our audience? As I gesture, what do you do? Brother?
It draws our attention to what you're trying to draw our attention to. It engages us in the process of what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're making that eye contact and then you're swinging them around and showing them what you want them to see and let their eyes get involved physically. What else do we see? Our sister here.
He emphasized certain words that he wanted for them to get the point about.
Yes, you think about emphasizing the words. When we are at the museum and we're looking at various displays, how might we pick up on that emphasis? What are we going to do? What do we need to do as we kind of do that? Sister Woodson, it's a trick question.
Well, that comes under modulation, as far as raising your voice and lowering your voice to create excitement or to have them focus in on something, along with, like you said, the gestures.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I know it's a little bit of a trick question, but we're going to prepare too, right? So make sure you pick out some things that you see that go, oh, you have to see, and now you put the emphasis on that. I saw a few more hands go up. Sister Granger.
He also made it personal. He said what part of it he found really interesting, so it kind of intrigues everybody else and lets them want to know more.
I love that. Yeah, making it personal. Kimberly. Everybody's a sister and brother here, by the way.
Well, because he was enthusiastic and he was looking at the crowd, they weren't looking at their phones, wandering off or doing their own thing. They were listening to what he was telling them.
Yeah, because it's important, right? So making it personal, making it important as we do that, right? Did you ever thought, Tammy?
I was just thinking, sometimes you see like the title of the exhibit and it doesn't sound like anything to you, but when somebody's like, oh, you've got to see this, it's so good. Like when I went to the Herd, I was kind of like boarding school, I really don't care about that. And so it was like, okay, I guess we'll go upstairs. And then that was my favorite part. So if you got somebody there saying, you've got to see this, it's so good, then something you didn't think anything about, you might actually be excited about.
I felt the same way. It changed me because I was thinking, oh, we're going to go see a school. And then we went in there and just your heart just really blows up, right? Okay, well, let's now look at our next group. We're going to talk about enthusiasm, just to set this up. Now we have too much enthusiasm while escorting the delegates to the registration desk first thing in the morning.
Good morning, guys! Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up! Oh my gosh, guys, it's so time for the Herd Museum. I know you are all excited. So tell me, where are all of you guys from? Oh my gosh, are you from India? Are you? Oh my gosh, are you from Germany? Arrivederci, so much fun. You're from Australia. Good day, mate. How you doing? And oh my gosh, you tell me where you're from. How do you say your name? How do you say welcome in your language? Tell me about it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh no, don't be shy, don't be shy. Say it really loud for everyone. Let us hear it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Okay, anyway, so now you have got to go to the registration desk. We're gonna go get checked in, and we're gonna have so much fun today. Let's go!
I just want to throw in a wow. So we are going to have coffee, but we won't have that much coffee. All right, so what advice can we give to our sister? Brother Sykes.
It's different times that you take Red Bull.
leave the Red Bull at home. Okay. What else do we see? Sister Smith.
Well, her energy was actually scaring the delegates that early in the morning. She had way too much energy and like the focus on them. Normally people in the morning don't want that much attention drawn to them.
Right. Brother Martinez, what do you got?
It just wasn't appropriate for the setting, the type of energy, that she had. It's obviously enthusiasm is important, but that was obviously too much, and it was throwing the audience off. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Brother Sosa.
First of all, good job. But it wasn't only scared for the delegates there. There was going to be other people that are going to be like, whoa, I'm glad I'm not in that group.
That's a really good point. So now, in thinking about that, Brother Martinez, what was your comment? You said?
I forget what I said a minute ago. It was inappropriate, inappropriate for the setting, the circumstance she was in.
I appreciate that. I forgot what you said a minute ago, too. So think about the setting that we're in, friends. So we're going to be in a museum, right? So we want to have enthusiasm, but we don't want to be at a place where it detracts from the setting that we're going to be in. So you're going to notice when we go in, there won't be singing. We're not going to have signs. We may have some flair that's inside the steel auditorium, but there's not going to be a lot of flair on the outside of the museum. They want to keep it dignified. So we need to be dignified, but we want to maintain enthusiasm. So let's try it again.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. I am so happy to see all of you here today. This is going to be a very exciting event. I see that you're all from different countries, and I would absolutely love to hear more about it as the day goes on. But right now, let's all go get checked in at the registration desk.
So what do you think now? What did she do that was a little different than Brother Martinez, but also different from her original piece? I think I didn't eat my Cheerios this morning, so. Ryan, thank you.
She was warm and enthusiastic, but it toned it down quite a bit and also allowed the delegates to get to their business faster and didn't take up their time the way she did the first time.
Yeah, very nice. Kimberly? No. Oh, you can't touch your face. So, and we also saw that, it was all about tone. So when you think about enthusiasm, how does that connect to our tone? How does energy and enthusiasm relate to the tone in which we say things? What would you say? Brother Martinez.
Thanks to you. Well, it's the conduit that where our energy and enthusiasm, it's the conduit that lets others know that how energized or how enthused we are. So the tone is very important.
Yes. Brother Sosa.
And also she was excited, showed excitement, but it wasn't in a outlandish type of way. She still showed that same enthusiasm that encouraged everybody, because now everybody knows we're going to talk later. And I think that's kind of what we all expect.
Yeah, take it from a 12 to a 7. Brother Martinez, another thought?
Oh, you make me think of that saying, tone it down a little bit. Like you wear the yellow socks at the Kingdom Hall. So, all right, brother, tone it down with the socks a little bit. I can't see the stage. So with that same thought, just bringing it down appropriate to the circumstance, like you said earlier.
Thank you, being appropriate. Brother Sykes.
And then if there's other groups, then they can be able to listen to their tour groups as they bring them in without too much distraction.
That's right. Now, what can we do to show enthusiasm besides the words that come out of our mouth? Sister.
Our body language, we can also, depends, are we moving sluggishly or are we kind of like moving with some energy and all that?
Yeah, talk about body language again. Let's think about it. How do we look? How do we feel? What are we doing when we're enthusiastic from a body language standpoint? Sister Demerit.
What I noticed with her, when she was expressing herself, she even touched her heart when she was like, I'm looking so forward to meeting you guys. And you can tell by her smile and the warmth in her eyes, she was genuine.
Yeah. Brother Sosa.
And just like you
You might not be saying anything right now, but with that big old smile that you always give everybody, that's all you need sometimes, just that big warm smile.
Absolutely. So we want to smile, we want to move our body, but we don't want to jump up and down like we did before. You want to give them a big round of applause? All right, so let's bring up our third group. I'll just set this up. So these are attendants 1 and 2. They are too shy to help a delegate. Too shy. I don't know why Hunter's even up here. He's not shy. And we're going to focus on enthusiasm.
Lunch, lunch,
Lunch.
lunch.
All right, were they shy? What do you think? Was that a shy? Shy could even be too, where like you're shy and you just, your head's down and hi, yeah, sure, right? I don't want to delegate, right? So you can see that body language. What did you see in regards to how our delegate might have been reacting to them? Sister Smith.
They started putting their faces down, like first they were looking at her and then kind of put their faces down and turned to look in another direction.
Head down is shy. Sister, either one of you, just pick one.
When you have shy, nervous energy, you can make your audience shy and nervous and therefore hesitant to communicate.
Yeah, so the audience, you see what happened to our sister. She was asking for lunch and then all of a sudden she kind of backed off. Similar thought? Okay. And sister, I really didn't eat today. This is going bad.
Granger.
Granger, thank you.
They were so shy that they were looking at each other like, who's going to act? Sometimes you get so shy, you like close up, you're afraid to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. So you're looking to somebody else to move and get started before you.
Yeah. Very nice. So when we're thinking about shyness, now what if we have a naturally shy disposition? Anybody here would consider themselves naturally shy? Who would say that? Okay, so we've got a couple hands to go. Okay, well, let's see if we can get some advice on how to do this. If we are shy, what can we do?
Lunch, lunch.
Lunch? Lunch? Right this way.
This way. The food's great, I tell you. We'll get you to the table.
Thank you.
So we noticed some mild changes, a little different from what our brothers did the first time to the second time. What was the one thing you caught that was different? Did you catch it, Sister Herb?
Even though he was shy and nervous, he still did his best to help her.
Yes. He took some action. What else? It's a physical thing I saw. Brother Sosa.
Only because I know him well, probably. He looked down, took a deep breath, probably said the quickest prayer he's ever said, and then he recovered.
Yeah. So we might do that. Say a quick prayer. Where were Brother Sosa's eyes when he was engaging our delegate, Sister Smith?
He was looking right at her, and then he stepped forward towards her, wearing the what not to do. He looked down, he turned around, he like disengaged from her.
Yeah, I think your advice helped him, right? So we think about our enthusiasm. We want to be able to be enthusiastic, make eye contact, smile, embrace our brothers and sisters, but not too much, right? When we think about what we're doing in connection with enthusiasm. All right, let's keep this party rolling. We're going to invite up Brother Woodson, and he's actually, before we go, we have some fun facts. Sister Demerit, are you here? You're going to give us some fun facts about the Odyssey.
All right, the Odyssey Aquarium and Butterfly Wonderland. Did you know? On display over 500 different species and more than 30,000 animals. There's a special feature. The Odyssey Aquarium was voted to have America's best Restroom.
Was that enthusiastic? I can't wait to see this restroom that everyone's been talking about. It's supposed to be amazing. All right, now let's invite up Brother Woodson, and he's going to deliver the next part. Upbuilding and positive. All right. Can you get back to that slide? I think he's trying to get there.
While we're adjusting the slide to get where we need to be, we have someone in the audience today who just came back from the International Convention. No doubt that a person can have a lot to share with us with regards to how they felt, what they experienced, and why it's so important for us to really take these training sessions serious. Lonnie Woodson, she just came back from the Miami International. Hate to put you on the spot, but I think it's worthwhile because this is what we're trying to learn. What do we need to do to make this a worthwhile event? You want to say a few words for us?
It was a great experience. Everybody was really loving. I think even though it was hot and, the conditions were, you were sweaty, you were standing out in the sun, you were thirsty, just the love, it made you forget about all that. So, and the emphasis on the hospitality, it just, just made you forget about how uncomfortable you were. So it's important that, it showed me how important it is to show love.
That's all good. Thank you. See, it's going to work. It's going to work for us. I like the part, too, that she mentioned about, even though the temperature wasn't the greatest there, they kind of didn't focus on that. They focused on the positive aspects of the experience that they had. And no doubt one of the things that really accentuated that was their interaction with the brothers and sisters. And that's why we come in, to really make this a very memorable and enjoyable event for them. We're going to move right along here. We're going to be talking about understandable to others. If you have your apply yourself to reading and teaching book, let's take a look at study number 17. Can we have a reader for 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 9? I'd like to read that for us. It's 1 Corinthians 14, 9. Sister Ward, would you like to do that for us, please?
In the same way, unless you with the tongue use speech that is easily understood, how will anyone know what is being said? You will, in fact, be speaking into the air.
Yes. So what do you think the Apostle Paul is helping us to understand? Sister right here.
That we need to keep our speech simple so that no matter what the situation, we're not trying to overinflate our knowledge of what we know, but to share some insight on something with the delegates.
That's right. And Sister Bort?
You could use big words and try to make ourselves sound smart, but if the people don't understand it, then what was the point of saying anything at all?
That's right. Brother Sosa?
I think the term know-it-all. We like to talk to people that know things and that we can learn things from. But when we see a brother, actually when we see somebody that thinks they know everything, we all kind of tend to sway away from them. So we want to direct our words in an appropriate manner.
Right. Mm-hmm. And sister right here.
And also, since we are keeping it simple, we need to enunciate all of our words and be very clear with what we are saying.
Right. And Sister Woodson?
That last point is very important when you're talking to people with different languages, because they know English, but not as extensively as we do. So by using the short sentences and simple words and phrases, then we can help them to understand too.
Right. This sister right here.
I was thinking even talking slower and not as fast, explaining something so that they can understand it better.
Exactly. And two, we got to keep in mind, some of us like to tell a lot of jokes. We like to be humorous. We got to keep in mind our jokes or Americanized jokes. They won't get it if you talk about certain things. It doesn't apply to their culture. It may mean something totally different to them. So we have to be even careful about some of the jokes we may want to tell you. We may be a little more witty or whatever the case may be. It's going to go right over the top of their head. They will not make the connection, and then again, we're just wasting our time as well as their time. But listen to what it says here in this lesson. It says, help your listeners to grasp the meaning of your message. And I think a lot of you have really captured that. Talk slow, make sure it's clear, concise. And it says, how do you do it? Study your material thoroughly. Understand the topic clearly so that you can explain it simply and in your own words. You may be at one of the exhibits. You may want to talk about something that's there or direct them to something that's there. Making sure you get a clear understanding of what's there and how you can present it in a way that's clear and understandable and easy to understand. I think that would be a big help for all of us, and particularly for our delegates. I remember I had a return visit. Went by there many, many times and shared some scriptures with him. He would read the scriptures. And I just asked him, did he understand the scripture? And he told me no. And it was a simple, basic scripture. The brother next to me said, you know, Ron, even though he speaks English well, he doesn't understand it. So we have to keep that in mind. They may speak English well, but they may not understand some of the things that we say. So think in terms of that. Here it says, use short sentences and simple phrases. Although longer sentences are acceptable, convey key points using concise phrases and sentences. It says, eliminate unnecessary details that may confuse and overwhelm your listeners. Favor plain language over complicated speech. And then it says this final bullet point. Explain unfamiliar terms. Minimize the use of expressions that are unfamiliar to your listeners. Provide an explanation to certain terms that we will use. So let's keep that in mind as we go through this, this demonstration, the discussion here. That first question there, how do our developing this skill enhance the experience of our visiting delegates? What would you say? How would this enhance their experience when we can talk clearly and concisely? Something that they can understand. First of all, before I ask that question, let's back up. How many of you have ever been outside of the country and went to a foreign language country before and they spoke a foreign language? When you heard somebody speak in your language or explain to you things in a way that you could understand, how did you feel? Sister Borden?
Remember we were using Google Translate and trying to get across the point to a woman. And finally, eventually, after messing with us for a while, she said, I do speak English. And it's just so, such a relief. It's like, oh, good, okay, because I don't know this language, I'm doing my best. But yeah, definite relief, and you're at ease immediately.
Yeah. You're relieved because you're frustrated. That relief, that frustration is gone from you now because you got somebody now who can understand you and they can understand what you're saying. So we need to keep that in mind. It's a very challenging experience to go to a different country and not to be able to speak and understand the language carefully, clearly, and have someone not to be able to reciprocate your communication with them. So let's go back a little bit, that last slide. Yeah, so how would our developing this skill enhance the experience of our visiting delegates? How would that enhance it? It'll eliminate the frustration, as we clearly saw. In fact, I wish you could have saw her face. That said it all right there. How else would it enhance their experience? Sister Smith?
They would feel like they're being taken care of and that they're of value or importance.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And the sister right here?
I was thinking they could be getting an overload of information the whole time that they're here, and we usually come away with a few points that we take home. So if we just highlight the few main points and keep it nice and simple, that'll be refreshing for them.
Good, good. It would really make it worthwhile for them. They can really benefit by the venues we have and the interchange of encouragement. Now, what must we do to develop the skill? What do you think we must do? Brother Sosa?
Practice.
Yes, practice, practice, practice. Brother Sykes?
I think it's a good job to really listen and then give a response
Okay.
based off what.
I think it's a good job, like we do already, is really listen to what they're saying and then be able to respond.
That's right. That's what we're going to learn to do. And one of the things that happens to all of us when we get nervous, excited, the adrenaline is flowing, sometimes our emotions or our senses take over. It dictates what we say and do. I think what we're trying to learn right now, when do those situations occur for us, and when they do occur, how can we control it? You ever heard of controlled chaos, so to speak, you know? We know it's gonna happen. We know what things trigger us to get us excitable. In fact, when you think about it, for example, when you're out in field service sometimes, quiet spoken person, but when they go to the door because they get excited, the adrenaline is rushing, you can hear them all the way down the street. They're talking so loud, and it's just disruptive to the whole neighborhood. And I think what we're trying to understand is this: there's things about us that will trigger certain type of responses, and we need to learn what those are so that when they do occur, we can manage them in a way that's going to help the delegates improve and enjoy their experience. So we got here, it enhances, it makes us more understandable, it's going to eliminate frustration, they're going to feel valued, refreshed, and also what to do. We need to practice and to listen. So let's do just that as we go into the next section here. That next slide, so upbuilding and positive questions. How would our developing this skill enhance the experience of our visiting delegates? Did we just start to say that? Sure sound like it. Oh, break off. Oh, let's do the groups things. Where's Heather at? Our group coordinator. Let's put some groups together and let's come up with some scenarios and how we can show how we can do this the right way and the wrong way, and let's learn from these experiences. Okay? We can learn from it. We're going to have the Coyote team come up first. And this is their scenario. The attendant tries too hard to be understood to a group of foreign delegates. Let's see how he handles this.
All right. Hello. Welcome to the Herd Museum. We are going to be following our tour guides. They're going to be down this way. Now, if you need to go to the potty right now, the little girls' room is over here, and the little boys' room is over here. You seem a bit confused. The girls' room is over here, and for the guys over there. All right, why don't you follow me this way?
All right. So what did we learn from that? What did we see? What did you feel uncomfortable, where you thought it was a good one, or Sister Bort?
That was insulting. You treated them like they were stupid.
You know, sometimes we got to really suppress that control thing. It comes out in us at the weirdest times. We got a group of people we're in charge with, and all of a sudden that Superman thing comes out of us, and we got to guide and protect them at all costs. But and control can be a problem too. Sometimes if we don't know how to use it judiciously, we can be overbearing with it to the point where it can be disturbing. And what else did you notice? Sister here?
Sometimes when we're not being understood, we get louder.
That's right.
That's not.
That's right. And what else? Sister Potts?
He's kind of talking to them the same way I talk to the kids that I listen with, talking about if anyone got to go potty.
That's right. Did we learn anything else or see anything else? Did you see anything else? All right, Luz. Well, let's get Kim since you're right there.
The way he was gesturing to let's go, like hurry up, people come on.
Okay, good.
And I did notice that he got really close to them, so that might have been super uncomfortable too for people, like, you know, he's like coming towards them, so.
Good, good. Good observations. There's a lot of different things that we can learn. So let's see another way in which this can be done in a way that's a little bit more comfortable and much more effective.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Herd Museum. We're going to follow our tour guide that's down the way a little bit. Now, if anyone needs to go to the bathroom, there's some over here. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? All right, great. Let's go this way and we'll meet up with the rest of the tour.
Good. Thank you, Brother Boyd. Nice, smooth, and engaging, and make the delegates feel comfortable. And that's what we want to see. To make them really feel comfortable, feel like we're going to take care of them, and make sure we take care of their needs. Now let's have the cacti group come up. This is their situation. Oh man, this is a good one. The attendant uses too many slang words.
Hey y'all, what's up my bros? Today's gonna be totally epic. You're gonna get to see totally awesome, amazingly cool, ridiculously sick art by Indians. You'll follow your tour guides and I'll be hanging, licking, chill. If you guys need anything, just holler back, okay?
Right. In some cases, there's no need to state the obvious, but in this case, we will. What was wrong with this? What was wrong with this situation here? Brother Ward?
I'm from here and didn't understand half the things she was trying to tell me, so I can imagine how confused the delegates must have been.
That's right. Those two brothers there?
I was thinking everything. Her gestures were inappropriate, the words she was using, no one even knows, and so the whole thing was kind of a big, confusing mess for the delegates.
Right.
And, you know, I'm hip and having, so I understood. But even then, it was kind of interesting because some of the words that she used, like if I wasn't, and I remember this from when I was learning English, the words she said, you know, this is sick, I would have been like, oh, no, sickness is bad. You know? So it's not only understandable, but, you know, it's, you lose a lot of translation as well sometimes.
These two sisters here.
And then when she said holla back, like how would they even know how to ask a question in that environment? You wouldn't even know how to speak to the woman.
Right.
And she sounded very worldly. She didn't sound like a woman.
No doubt she probably didn't speak this way at the Kingdom Hall. So what may have brought this out of her at this point in time? Luz?
When you're nervous, you can start rambling and just saying stuff that comes out of your mouth.
That's right. It can get you in a lot of trouble too, can it? And see, this is what we're trying to recognize. Sister Board?
Obviously, that was exaggerated and she wouldn't really do that, but even just like Brother mentioned, being mindful of the words we do use, because maybe we slip in slang and we don't really realize it, and it's a word that has a completely different meaning. So we just want to be careful of doing that.
Yeah, just take our time. Just take our time, think through what we need to do and say, and let it happen. Okay, let's see the right way to do it. Try it again, sis. We're going to let you redeem yourself.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters. Today is going to be an exciting event for you all. What you have in your hands is your itinerary and your tour map. We'll begin the Heard Museum tour guides who will show you the beautiful art by Native Americans. If you guys need anything, I'll be right here, and I look forward to being in your group.
Thank you. Beautiful. What do you think about that one? How was it? Relaxing. It was dignified and very respectful. So again, that's what we want to think about before we say anything. What's going to be the impact of what we say and is it going to reach the target that it's supposed to with regards to doing something in a way that's going to glorify Jehovah? Now let's look at this last one here, the Roadrunner group. Come on up. Show us what you're going to do. This is a situation. A delegate is lost and doesn't know where to go. Let's see how we handle that situation.
Sister, can you tell me where to do or where to go next?
Oh, just look on your schedule, show you where to go next.
But I don't understand this map.
I don't really understand math either, just.
Let's see. Okay, so tell us what's going on there. What's happening? Is that a problem? Our sister right here.
One, she was a little bit kind of rude, not helpful, and just, it was.
She's a little rude, she wasn't very helpful, and it was just bad.
That's right, that's right. Sister Yasante?
And I think earlier we talked about preparation. I think that was lack of preparation. In case she was prepared, she would have been also know what she was supposed to be doing.
That's right. And sister back here?
She really didn't care what, you know, if the sister had a problem or not, so she was just, it was kind of selfish on her part.
That's right. And Sister Board?
It's kind of like when you lose something and someone says, where'd you see it last? Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have a problem. So she says, look at your schedule, or it's on your schedule. She's got her schedule right in front of her. That obviously didn't help her, so it's not helpful at all.
I think we've all been to had a situation where we went to a store someplace and needed some help. And what was the reception like from the person who works there, who gets paid to help us? Brother, you got a good one, I can tell right now.
You can tell the initial body language as you come toward you, but you still ask.
That's right. They get irritated. They're upset that you even took their time away from them to ask them a question that they're getting paid to do. We're here because we said we can do this, and we said we can do it well. So of course, situations like this should never happen in the venues that we have across the state here in Arizona and Jehovah's organization. But again, it's just something that we need to be aware of, which possibly can happen, and we want to make sure that it doesn't. So let's look at it another way, the right way.
Sister, can you tell me what to do next? This map is kind of confusing.
I would love to help you. Let me just see your schedule. Oh, nice. You have Color Riot next. That's an exhibit where it shows you how Navajos make colorful rugs.
Where's that at?
It's right here on your map. You know, I'd love to show you.
Oh, please, thank you.
Thank you, ladies, thank you. And of course, that's what we want to do. We want to be very helpful, help them, show them a way. Some people are just not map oriented or map literate at all. You can point the way and everything else. They just will not know how to get there. So gently directing them, helping them to assist them to get there would be a really loving thing to do with regards to helping our delegates. So with regards to what we've learned so far in chapter 17 of our teaching book, Understandable to Others, what are some takeaways that you can think about that you can learn or apply? Or maybe we can all learn. What would be some takeaways you think we can do to keep in mind? Sister right here.
Try to avoid using slang like awesome or sick.
That's right. Sister Woodson?
Making sure we prepare, so that'll take away some of the nervousness, or if we're shy, you know, we can just fall back on what we've researched.
Right, right. And Brother Sykes, that person you had that bad experience with in the store, do you still see their face?
One more time.
That person that you had that bad experience with in the store, do you still see their face?
No.
Oh, okay. Sometimes we do. And sometimes we bring them up. We think about a bad experience. That's what we think about, that particular person. And we don't want that to happen in our venues here with our brothers and sisters. So look here, we got something here we're going to share with you. A tour fact, Sedona. And Sister Woodson is going to share that with us.
How many people have ever been to Sedona? Oh, just about everybody. This is one of the places that we have a tour going to. So some of your people will be going there. And so here's a few facts. Did you know more than 90 feature films have been shot in the Sedona area? Some of them include well-known stars such as John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, and Elvis Presley. Special feature, Montezuma's Castle is one of the best preserved prehistoric cliff dwellings in North America.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Woodson. So wonderful thing. So let's give our attention now to Brother Demeritt as he takes us to the next segment of building in positive.
All right, so we're going to talk about upbeat and positive. Very important aspect of what we're going to be dealing with. Think about what that means. Where's our focus when we're upbeat and positive? What do you think we want to focus on? Sister Kimberly.
We're going to focus on the delegates.
Yes. And in particular, when is there a need to be upbeat and positive? Think about maybe the last time you flew on a plane or something. Tammy.
I would say it's most important when things aren't ideal, when it's crowded, when something's late, when it's hot. Like when people have a tendency to be negative or down is when you need to counteract that and be uplifting.
That's exactly right. So you think about this, our workbook says focus on things that improve the situation and that inspires confidence. So here it is, we are the delegates, or we are serving the delegates, and they're looking to us for confidence. So let's talk about how we can do that. How can we inspire confidence and improve a situation? What would you say? Brother Sosa.
I remember when we just went to do the tour ourselves, there was such a crowd and people were behind us and we were like too ahead to get to the front. We're just kind of like, why is the line moving? Why are we, it's hot. Why are we just, they got 4 people there. Why don't they get 6? So at least at the beginning, sometimes, we got to be upbeat and say, hey, we're going to be next. We're going to be in there soon. Whatever it takes.
That's a real example. You're going to notice when you get into the museum and there's some organized tours. First of all, we're sharing the museum with other people. And as we go through, sometimes you're taking an organized tour and there might be 20 people in a group. And we're standing in a corridor that's really tight. And you're waiting online and you can't really see. So we might be focusing our group back on being upbeat and positive. What else would we might need to be upbeat and positive? When should that happen? Sister Sharp.
I was thinking it's easy to be upbeat and positive when things are going smoothly, but when things aren't working out so good or something bad is happening, we can completely change the tone by being positive with our brothers and sisters, with the delegates, with the staff at the museum.
Yeah, that goes right along with what it says here, limit negative material, right? So you're shifting the focus, right, from what's not going well to what is going well. So we can do that. What about in terms of, especially when we're dealing with our delegates, they certainly speak the same language. What language can we use between each other and between our delegates as we think about a situation that might be not going awry? Where could we lean? It used to be in a book and now it's in a tablet. Sister Woodson.
The Bible.
Yeah.
Share scriptures or reflect on scriptures, something that will encourage and upbuild.
Very nice. So in thinking about Bible scriptures and how we can apply that in a situation that might be difficult, and we can do that. Okay, so let's talk about how we can develop our skills and enhance our experience of our visiting delegates. So what are some things that we might do? Sister Smith.
We might be in situations where we need to really force our smiles, force ourselves to keep positive so that we're engaged with the delegates rather than turning into the confusion just as the delegates are confused.
Yeah. So really just reshaping our thoughts again. What else can we do? Anything else? Sister Potts?
With what you said earlier about how we could be in a tight corridor and we might not be able to see everything, we can assure the delegates that they will have a chance to see it as we walk past.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I was even thinking about another situation, right? Delegates are going to be on the light rail. Does anybody use the light rail here? Very much? Couple, right? So the experience on the light rail, it's very nice, much nicer than a New York subway, but nonetheless, it's public transportation. How might a delegate have a bad experience on our public transportation? And how could being upbeat and positive help us? Sister here.
Well, we do have a lot of homeless people around downtown Phoenix, and I work out there, and there's, different, so they might have a bad experience with somebody inside, the rail.
Yes, so that's a reality. So what could we do in a situation like that and being upbeat and positive? What do you think? Homeless person. Sister Woodson?
I think it'd be a situation where we, again, go to the scriptures and just reflect on the fact that Jehovah's given us a hope, and there'll be a time when we won't, see things like this going on, and everyone will be taken care of, and, just that there won't be those type of situations.
Yeah, and it could be even nice to remind them, yeah, but look at our experience here. People are looking at us. What a witness that could make, even to a person who might be homeless, right? You turn something that's down and you make it upbeat and you can make it positive. Okay, so let's talk about what we must do to develop this skill. What are some of the things that we can do to develop the skill? Brother Sosa.
Well, again, practice. I mean, there's something that happens to us every day. I mean, it's hot here. Instead of waking up this morning and going, well, it's hot, you can always think it's going to get dark soon. Hope there's shade, So just a matter of keeping it going, keeping that in our hearts.
That's right. Brother Martinez.
That makes me think we can all come up with circumstances we're probably going to hear, because we probably kind of feel that way too. It's too hot, or the train's late, or there's homeless person. So before, it wouldn't take to spend a night where you come up with positive comments, of building comments, if we hear those things, because we think the same way the delegates are gonna think. So, we can be prepared to have those ahead of time, ready to go, and so that we're not falling in line with being negative,
That's a very nice segue, because that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So let's break up into our groups, and we're going to go through those scenarios again. Turn the down up. I like that. If it's down, make it up. And then the skill is really just to practice and prepare. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So let's invite our first group up. And to set this up for you, these delegates, the delegate isn't feeling well, and the attendant is positive, but not sympathetic. Let's see how that works out.
Hello, my sister.
Brother, I don't feel good.
Don't? What's wrong?
I just don't feel good. I'm just feeling weak and dizzy.
Oh, you're also hot. You said. Well, you know what? I know you're not feeling well, but you don't want to hold your group back. I mean, the Israelites were tired. They got hot. They got hungry.
I'm really tired
Let's
and
get
hot,
it
and I just need to sit down or something. Can you help me?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you stick with that sister, and maybe she can push you along. That way, the rest of the group doesn't slow down. Because look at all these exciting things we got to see.
All right. Nice job, Brother Sosa. So, what do you think, friends? What did Brother Sosa miss? What was he lacking there? He was positive, but what did he not have? Sister Potts.
There was no empathy for her and no any sort of understanding for her to understand that, hey, it's Arizona, she's too hot.
Yeah. So just think about that for a second here. Have any of us been too hot? Have any of us felt a little sick sometimes? Right? So we're thinking about that. What else? Anything else that he was lacking? Sister Sharp?
I was thinking he used a Bible story, but like the wrong context, and it wasn't what the sister needed, and she needed practical help, and he didn't give her that.
Very nice. So she needed the comfort. Brother Sykes.
You want to mention kindness?
Yeah.
And just the first thing is to stop and then address that situation, but he kept going to try to get everything else moved.
Yeah. So, Sister Tim.
It didn't take into consideration the fact that these people are from other places. I mean, I live here and I hate the heat, so they're not used to this, and they're coming here and just totally throwing that out the window, not having any kind of compassion or consideration.
Yes. Yeah. And Sister Woodson.
It's also, he looked like he didn't know what to do. And so again, that's a part of our preparation, because we will be giving, the attendants information on what to do when there's situations like that, so that delegate can be taken care of properly.
All right, so we're going to focus on what you should do, Brother Sosa, and see how you can be more sympathetic, empathetic.
Well, my sister, are you okay?
Brother, I don't feel good at all.
What seems to be the situation?
I'm kind of dizzy and tired and hot. Really hot.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we get one of our other brothers, one of our assistant attendants, and he can take care of you. Maybe you can sit with him for a little bit, or
Thank you, thank you.
So friends, now we think about Brother Sosa's focus. Where was his focus now? Kimberly.
He was paying attention to the delegates. He noticed that something was wrong and then approached her and asked her if everything was okay.
Yeah. And what did he do once he recognized that there was an issue? Sister Sharp.
I was thinking what we learned, if you see something, say something. And so he got another brother to get her help.
My mother loves that saying. She's always seeing something, saying something. Yeah, so we have to do something. If we see some action, we have the authority as attendants to take action for our brothers and sisters. So don't ever feel like, well, I can't. Just take some action and help our brothers and sisters out. So that was excellent. Thank you for that presentation. Okay, so now let's look at group number 2. We're going to bring them up just to set them up. The attendant, one, is standing at the boarding school exhibit is anything but upbuilding. So this person is anything but upbuilding. Let's see how that works out.
Okay, so you guys are gonna see the Away from Home American Indian School boarding school story exhibit. Be prepared to be extremely sad and get your tissues ready. This is the gloomiest exhibit ever about the horrible experience Native American children who were treated with disrespect and hatred by selfish white people who didn't care anything about them. So let's go enjoy.
Let's go enjoy that one. Something I want to see, right? So friends, what did we see as our attendant was addressing the group? What was missing? Let me see, what was missing? Sister Wisner.
There was nothing positive about it, everything was negative. Can you hear me?
Say that again.
No. There was nothing positive, everything was negative.
Yeah. Why is it bad to be negative in this particular case? What hurt the situation? What do you think? Brother Sosa.
First, it was
Mike, there you go.
they're all happy to be there at the museum, and the sister kind of turned that joy into sadness, and then pulling out the race card probably really just made them probably one uncomfortable, but two unhappy to be there.
Yeah, she took the gas out of her sails. You had a similar thought, Tammy?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So we can see how that can happen. All right, so let's see if we can turn around. Sister Martinez is going to turn it into something positive.
Okay guys, so next on your itinerary is the Away from Home exhibit. This is a self-guided tour that examines an important and often unknown period in American history. So beginning in the 1870s, the U.S. government aimed to make American Indians into civilized society by placing them into government-operated boarding schools. Most of the children were taken away from their families and transported to faraway schools that they were assigned to really take away their culture. So the students were trained at these schools, and many years even didn't see their families. But this exhibit that you'll see has a lot of works of art and material, and it gives first-person interviews and an interactive element that will be encouraging to you, and you can have a personal connection to what happened. You'll witness the challenges, but you also see how these boarding schools were designed to change American Indians, but American Indians also changed the schools. So enjoy your tour.
Yeah. Very nice. So what did we see that was different in this presentation versus the first presentation? Same material, same school, but what was different? Tammy.
Well, it's still a sad topic, but she put a positive spin on it. There was a reason to see it. It was encouraging, a reason to see it, that not that it was just like, get your tissues, this is the worst, everyone's horrible. It gave you a reason to want to actually go.
Yeah, and did anybody catch the reason why? Because you're going to be saying this when you're there. What was the reason? What did the Native American people do in regards to this school? There.
The school was supposed to change them, but instead they changed the school, so it's a positive that comes out of it.
Yeah, so we want to remember that. They changed the school and be positive about it. Be positive about their experience, because we know that experience ultimately, like was mentioned earlier, Jehovah is going to change that situation. All right, well now, let's end on a fun fact. Did you do Sedona?
We already did it, yep.
You did Sedona. So do we have any more fun facts, Sister Demerit? Oh wait, we need one more group to go. I did this to you last time.
I didn't say anything either.
I don't know, worse. Come on, we got one more group. This is the most exciting, the last group of the day. So let me set this up. So this is attendant one is hot and tired, and his or her last group of the day. Let's see how that works out.
Okay, come on. Follow your guide.
Hey, don't walk ahead of the tour guide, okay? Stay in your group. I'm hot, I'm tired, I've been here all day, and I don't feel like going looking for you guys, all right? You know, I'm not even much of a museum person. Actually, I hate them. But this one's not that bad. Oh, man, it is too hot. I hate the heat. I mean, why did you guys even choose Arizona for a convention? I mean, seriously, did you not even know it's hot here? I mean, do you want to fry?
All right. So just so you know, she said that that was very natural to her. Thank you, Heather, for writing that so perfectly. All right, so we see our last tour of the day. There's no doubt we are going to have a last tour of the day. What did we see in this experience? Sister Colin.
So she was very demeaning to the delegates, kind of made them feel bad for even coming, and kind of like made them cower in the corner. So that's one that we definitely don't want to do.
Yeah, we don't want to scold them for coming here. Kimberly.
The theme of the convention is love never fails. Her love failed, she was very rude.
Yeah, we got to keep that up. Here, give me my mic.
She was very focused on herself and how she was feeling, not on making the delegates feel good about what they were there to see.
Yeah, let me ask this question. Is it reasonable to think that we might be feeling something during this event? What would you say? All the heads are shaking yes, right? So where can we shift our focus when we are feeling something? What do you think, Sister Smith?
One of the things that stuck out to me is that by her telling them she was so hot, then others started to fan themselves, so they shifted their focus on the heat. So by us being upbuilt and positive towards the exhibit or the museum, it's going to keep their focus on the museum rather than on the negative things.
Yeah, let's see the positive. I know she's going to knock us out of the park.
All right, guys, I know it's hot, it's the middle of the afternoon, but let's go ahead and go follow your guide. Just stay with them, we'll get inside, we'll get in the air conditioning pretty soon. You know, I'm not even really much of this one is great. You guys are really gonna like it. Really, I think it's amazing you guys decided to come here, even though it's so hot, because it is a beautiful state, and you're really going to enjoy Arizona despite the heat. So let's go ahead and go inside.
All right. So quickly, what did we see that was done right? Sister Potts?
She emphasized to them that despite the heat, they're still going to be able to enjoy their time here.
Kept it positive, right? And that's really what we want to do as we think about how we're addressing the friends. If we're in a negative situation, just take a pause, say a quick prayer, keep it positive, and we'll all get through this together with joy. So that's where we want to keep our focus. And we think about that. So continue to smile, ensure comfort, go to the Bible when we can, and then turn that down up. And we're going to just keep practicing this as we go on our free time. All right. Well, now we don't have any more tours to highlight, do we? That's all the tours we have, folks. So we're going to invite up Brother Woodson. He's going to give us a quick review of the day, and then we'll end with a great song.
All right, well, let's get started. So what did we learn today? What teaching qualities did we cover in this session? Enthusiasm, accurate reading, warmth and empathy, understandable to others, upbuilding, and positive. What would you say? What did we learn? Sister right here? All of them. I mean, those are things that we normally do. See, it became natural to you, which is good. But what we talked about was those three: enthusiasm, understandable to others, upbuilding, and positive, right? I mean, we always want to make sure what we read is accurate, and definitely want to be warm to where we deal with it. Now, what about this one? Because the delegates are already excited to be here, it is not necessary to show enthusiasm. True or false?
False.
Who said true? You need to go back to the class. would you say this to be the case? Now, you would think naturally, they're already pumped up, but why do we have to keep them pumped up? My brother here?
Well, I think we kind of talked about it last time. They could be tired from just all the activities from the day, or it could just be too hot, and so no day is going to be exactly the same. So to keep them positive.
Absolutely. Kalani, you've just experienced this.
And even though they're there, we don't know what they went through to get there. So it's important that we keep it positive because we don't know what they went through.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the sister right here?
And they may have a full itinerary where they have to get up really early and they get back really late, and then now they have the tour the next day at the museum, so they may be tired.
It's going to be a whirlwind for them. It's going to be busy. Sister Board?
They may not know much about the museum. Maybe they already kind of think that maybe I should have skipped this one. I don't even know if it's worth it. But then you get someone pumping you up and saying, this is so good, you're going to love it. Then you're like, oh, I'm glad I booked this. I can't wait.
So we got to keep them away from Brother Damaris. This brother here.
And also, again, just emphasizing the heat, because I guess we got to be pumped about that as well. Some of them are going to go out to service, and sometimes after a service I need like a 6-hour nap, but they're going to continue on.
Yeah, we need to keep them excited, pumped up about the experience, make sure it's an enjoyable one for them. Because for most of them, it's interesting, a lot of them, I may have mentioned this last week, but the coming to America is a highlight for them in their life. Particularly their theocratic life, too. To be able to come here and be with their brothers and sisters is truly a highlight they'll never forget. We want to make sure that's the case. So when speaking with ones whose first language is not English, it is best to speak loudly to be understood. True or false?
False.
Speaking real slow here. False, that's right. And why would that be the case? Jessica?
If we start getting louder for them to understand us, it does absolutely nothing for them.
Right. Sister Board?
If they're not understanding the words, hearing them louder isn't going to make any difference.
No.
It's almost kind of like how you talk to a dog. It's demeaning it the same way.
Yeah. In fact, you can tell a dog, I'm going to kill you, in the nicest tone of voice, it'll just wag its tail, not knowing what you're really saying to it. So again, we have to make sure our tone of voice is really appropriate for the occasion. Practical things we can do to prepare for our role as host to our international delegates. Become familiar with the tour venue and script. Stay up late the night before our assignment. We'll probably do that anyway. Arrive early for your shift, prayer and meditation, all of the above. Which ones are they? Which should we do? Sister right here. Sister right here in the middle. Oh, he put the answer up there again. She was going to answer the wrong question, so I'm like, probably no. What would you say?
A, C, and D.
A, C, and D.
Good job.
For those of which all of us will be working, it really will be all of the above. And what about the next one? Sedona facts. Oh, okay. We did the Grand Canyon too, right? We talked about the facts there. A few reminders. I think next week we're going to talk about safety. We're going to get into hydration, emergency exits, things to look for in the delegates if we detect that they're showing some symptoms of heat exhaustion or whatever the case may be. And that's really going to be a good lesson next week for all of us to make sure that when they come here, if we see anything distressing to them, we can take care of them right away and help them out. I think that's about it. Something that we didn't do, and I think we were kind of remiss in doing this, and I wish, now that we got a couple minutes, maybe we can take the time to do this. Can we formally introduce everybody? Because I would really like to know everybody's name, rather than this sister and that brother, because we're going to be working very closely together. We need to know who we're talking to. When you see a face, see a name, you need to put a face to it. So let's go around the room and just introduce ourselves, what congregation you're at, and why you want to do this. Brother Board.
I'm Ryan Board. I'm from Ashton Ranch. I'm surprised, and I want to do this because
when we've gone to other countries and we've been able to tour Lake Bethel in Italy, just the experience of that, seeing the brothers and sisters, seeing the warmth and love from them, I want to be able to do that for someone when they come here to Arizona.
Good.
Presco Sate, Canyon Springs out in Surprise. The reason why I want to do this is because one of my best times is always when I'm around my brothers and sisters. So,
And also, we have an added benefit here too. Sister Yusate is a nurse, an RN, so that's a really added plus to our team. So clearly, if we start seeing somebody experiencing some symptoms and she's on board, you know, there she is. She's our go-to girl right there, go-to sister. And the sister here?
Tasha Sykes from Shea Heights. I went to the International in 2014 in Detroit, and just having that experience with all the friends, it's an amazing feeling.
Even though it was in the country, it was still an amazing experience, wasn't it?
Brother John Martinez, the Valle Central congregation in Phoenix, Spanish congregation, that's part of the reason why, because we're not invited to the assembly. So this is our chance to be involved and to be around the delegates, because we had the opportunity to do that before, so it's a blessing to be on both ends.
Good, good.
Michelle Smith with Shea Heights, and I work full-time. I just try to take advantage of every opportunity that Jehovah opens the door where I have a opportunity to do more in his service.
Chris Wisner, Shea Heights, and I love our brothers and sisters, especially those that are coming from other countries, because they're about to meet our brothers and sisters worldwide.
Okay.
Juan Souza, El Dorado Park. And I apologize, but I didn't want to do a tour. As you recall, the reason I was entertaining the thought of the tour is because my wife was actually called, and I think we sat there and you said you don't get a choice of what you do, you get to work where she wants to.
That's right.
And so with that being said, it's kind of interesting how I just wanted to be a delegate, but the excitement of everybody that's doing the tours, the excitement of brothers who have been to international assemblies, that excitement just kind of, you can't keep that inside, no matter how much I say I just want to be a delegate because I've never been to an international. It's like you can't help but not do something. Now I'm upset because nobody else has called me to do anything.
Give it a couple more weeks. Trust me, the phone's going to be off the hook.
I'm Heather Demerit from Shea Heights. I'm so excited to do this because being an international convention was always on my spiritual bucket list. So now not only did I get to go, but I get to host it. So it's just amazing.
Good.
I'm Shelby Sharp. I'm in Shea Heights too, and I'm very excited to do this because I feel like Jehovah's done so much for me. The brothers and sisters have done so much for me, and to be able to show that love in return, I'm really excited about that.
I'm Olivia Collins from Shea Heights as well. And yeah, I'm just excited to show my willingness to serve Jehovah and our brothers and express my love for them.
Good.
I'm Bethany Brown from Tempe West, and you guys have basically hit on all the different points that kind of works the same way for me. But also, I love museums, so it's an opportunity to share what I love with my brothers and sisters.
Good.
I'm Jessica Potts from Canyon Springs, and I'm really excited to do this because it's finally given me something more to do in Jehovah's service.
Okay. And let's right there in front of you.
Kimberly Zulik from Ashton Ranch. I've been to a number of different international conventions. I've traveled abroad. I've always been on the receiving end of all the love, and this time I get to be on the giving end, so I'm really excited about it.
Good.
I'm very, I like Native American and their history and everything and their art. So when I got picked for this one, I was really, really, really excited.
Sister.
Allison Mendez from Valle Central, and I'm really excited for this because it's so amazing to first of all one-on-one experience of brotherly love and to be able to make that experience unforgettable.
Good.
Diana Martinez, Valle Central. I've been a delegate before in the past, and to like they mentioned before, just to be on the giving part of it is a great experience, and I'm excited about it.
Good. And our videographer, let's get him too.
Thank you. Manolo Topete, I go to Vineyard Spanish, and like my fellow Spanish brother over there, we don't get to go to the international. So this was a great opportunity for us to be part of it.
Good.
And we're very happy to be here.
Thanks for volunteering. Trust us. That's for sure.
Lisa Woodson, pretty
much everyone has kind of said the way I feel. I too have been on the receiving end of several of the international conventions, and now I get a chance to reciprocate that. So I'm truly looking forward to that. And we've done where the need is on the Navajo reservations several times. They're awesome people. So to be able to be a part of this museum and their experience and seeing it through their eyes has just been a treasure for me.
Good. Hunter Sosa, Eldorado Park, and unlike my father, actually really wanted to do this assignment. And that was because when we went to Bethel, the brother giving the tour told us that he volunteered, and just seeing his joy and the joy that he was able to give to us as the ones getting the tour, I thought what a great way to actually give back, and so volunteered for this one.
Good for you. Thanks for volunteering.
Tammy Bort, Ashton Ranch Mountain Surprise, and I was just so excited to hear about the International. I just wanted to do anything I could to help out, but to be honest, tour guide attendant was my number one. Like, I really wanted to. I love travel. When I go anywhere, I like to research the area, find out everything about it, and then tell everybody who's with me. I act as a tour guide. And so the Heard Museum, even though I'd never been until I got this assignment, I was really excited by because it's really unique to Arizona. And I think it's going to be really cool and really special to be able to show the delegates that are coming here something that's so very Arizona, and just really excited to get to do it.
Great.
Deanna Granger, Chaparral Park. This is my first international convention, and I'm excited for the convention, but also to just get involved in all the extra stuff, because it's in all the extra that we'll get to meet our brothers and sisters from all over the world. So I'm just so excited about all of that.
Good.
Marlo Jefferson, I go to Greenway Hills Congregation, and like many of the friends, I've had the opportunity to go to 2 international conventions. So now this time I get to display love to the brothers and sisters that's coming here. And also too, this was my first time going to the Heard. I've been to the other museums that the friends are gonna go to, but this one, going to it for my first time, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Didn't know it was here, so now I get to show that and display it with the friends that's coming in.
Good, good. Kalani?
Kalani Woodton. My favorite thing about, I go to Canyon Springs. My favorite thing about conventions is meeting the people. I think it's really cool that I can say that I have family in Australia, Hong Kong, different places. So this is one-on-one time I get to spend with the delegates. So I'm excited to meet new people.
Good.
My name is Luz Skinner. I'm from Canyon Springs out in Surprise, and I wanted to do this because this is my first international, and I feel like this is like everybody else. Like it's giving of yourself and giving of your time, and I like museums as well. So it's something that I can give back to the brothers and sisters coming all over the world.
Good. Thank you. And Brother Sykes.
I think about all the instruction that we get, how we love our brothers, and scripturally how we apply things to each other out here, but also abroad where we can't get to those places. So it's such a huge opportunity to be able to express the love, really true brotherly love, to your brothers and sisters during this time. And also, I couldn't say no to my wife. Thank you.
Thank you all for such a wonderful volunteering spirit. It really helps. But also for those who have not been called yet, that you may know of, we do know they still need brothers and sisters in food service for box lunches. And also, we were speaking to the brother who's handling the food arrangement for the Heard. They will need 8 to 10 servers per day there during lunchtime. So if you know anybody who's interested in doing that, who may have not have had an opportunity to volunteer, or may not have been called yet, or missed a call, or whatever, see me or Brother Demerit. We can give you a phone number so you can make contact, okay? All right, well, thanks, everybody. Sister Zulik?
At the beginning, you said something about 300 delegates. Is that where there's 300 delegates touring the Heard?
Per day.
Oh, per day?
Per day. Per day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we said too. In fact, that's what I was writing when I was sitting here. We're still trying to work out the logistics of that, because the Heard is a tight place. But because they got the evening gathering that day, it's going to cut short today. And if we stagger them throughout the day, some of the delegates only probably get an hour, hour and a half there at that museum. And so we're trying to figure out how can we extend that stay so they can enjoy it, be relaxed, comfortable, and get a chance for us to mingle with them as well. Because if we cut down that time, it's going to be a challenge, and they really won't get much out of it. So we're trying to figure out how we can extend their time there so they can enjoy it, have lunch together with all of us at the same time, and enjoy the spiritual program. So we're still working on a few logistics. So, okay? Before we leave, any questions that you may have at this point?
A couple extra announcements here. So I know we asked your friends to go to the museum. Has everybody had a chance to go to it, take pictures and things like that? We haven't had an opportunity to talk about it today, but we are going to take about 5 minutes before the next meeting, so we'll be able to kind of go through the things that we asked you to go through. So we didn't forget you on that. We just wanted to cover this other material. And also, thank you for making your yes. There's some really good things that might pop up later. Your congregation could get delegates or things like that, and you go, oh, I really want to do that instead of this. Thank you for committing to this, because we have put you in a spot, and we're counting on you to be there and be able to take care of that spot. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, let's invite Brother Demerit up as he conclude with prayer. Well, we've got a song too?
We got a song. So,
song and prayer.
Wherever you go, you will have family here. Because wherever you go, Jehovah's people are there. And you'll feel love. You'll feel love, a brotherly love. So feel the love. Oh, brothers and sisters all over the world, unite with Jehovah and follow His Son to bring you love, a nation of brotherly love. So feel the love. Our Father provides for us all. No one left over. Deep in the jungle or on mountains high, in big modern cities or on islands afar, you belong to the people of God. So feel the love. Our Father provides for us all. No one left over. But in the world it can be cold, a scary place, truth to be told. So how wonderful it is to know the one true God and His people. Oh, Jesus, He taught His disciples to love. So millions of people as a nation they show Jehovah's love. And you belong among all of them. To feel the love. To feel the love.